Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video. This is kind of a weird one. It is based on what appears to be a bug. Some are saying it's intentional, but I don't really know how it could be. This has to do with something that arrived with Heresy that appears to have broken Revenant and is popping up in other ways around the game. The long and short of it, at least the major issue, is that the Nether health regen system, which is, it gives you, I think it's like 300% health and shields as normal, but it doesn't regenerate just from natural recovery. That's kind of the rogue-like aspect of things, and you heal by killing enemies, spawning health wells, getting upgrades to get more health wells that heal more, or things like finishers heal you, or the class ability heals you, things like that. There's some debate whether this is good or bad. I think it's fine. Solo was terrible, but in a group, I think it's totally fine. Even on expert, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Bungie has announced that they're like tweaking healing sources and stuff to maybe make it a little better. What has happened though is this is also implemented in other activities, including both of the main Revenant activities, Onslaught Salvation and Tomb of Elders, at least in most versions of them, from what I can tell. This sounded too crazy to me to be real, so I logged in. I just, got hit by some enemies. I stood around waiting to regen for a very long time, and nothing happened. I was made aware shortly after that this also applies to even just normal Vanguard strikes, where it's the same thing. You do get the bonus health and shields, but you don't regen. And of course, the problem here is that unlike Nether, which has all these healing mechanisms to get you back up to full health or you recover or whatever, there's nothing like that in here. It's not dropping health wells, and you're not getting finisher on heal upgrades, things like that. And I didn't check this, but I don't think like normal healing sources will heal you just like Nether, like rifts or restoration or whatever. The bugged things that do work, like Crimson or Knockout, those work, but it's the same thing. That's the problem. It's just ported over to these other modes. There does appear to be like a discovered cause of what's happening here, where this is a result of the Brawn modifier, which is in place in all of these activities, including Nether. Bungie said that they were like tweaking how it worked, which has led some people to believe that this is intentional. Like they said, what did they say? Someone posted this on Reddit. It's intentional modifiers. Brawn, tuned healing sources to better balance the health economy when this modifier is active. I don't think this makes sense. Like from what I can see, maybe I'm missing something here, but this kind of Brawn modifier makes sense in Nether. I don't know why they would implement a Nether health system for this, the supposedly roguelike thing in these other activities that have nothing to do with the style of gameplay. I don't know how you ration that out in your head for it to make sense. So the point is like, I don't really see the reason you would play these activities when this modifier is active. It seems like the fix, quote unquote, might be when this modifier comes off of these other activities, because presumably it would fix things. I've done other activities. I was like, okay, is this active in Patrol? Is this active in, the Vex episode? I forgot what it's called. Those activities. And no, it's not, from what I could tell. And it does seem to be linked to the Brawn modifier. But again, I don't really understand how this could be something purposeful, that it's even in like Vanguard strikes to make this a weird kind of difficult. Like we had attrition, as a modifier, but this is not attrition with, the health wells and stuff. So this has to be a bug, but it's not even the only bug. I think that's the main one. But the other ones, apparently all of Revenant is broken because you can no longer get major fieldworks at the table that you used to get them from, and you need those to progress the episode. So a lot of people just can't do anything if they didn't do it before Heresy arrived. You just like can't finish the last episode, so that sucks. That's like a totally game breaking bug if you are actually trying to play that content. One weird one is that Onslaught Salvation now only has a 50 wave version, where if you try to do the 10 wave like easy playlist match made one, that doesn't exist. It just keeps serving you additional waves. So somehow that got switched. Something happened with King's Fall. I think that like they removed modifiers and champions or Kel's Fall. That's what I meant. Kel's Fall. So that's, an issue too. It very much seems like whatever was added in Heresy broke a lot of aspects of Revenant, if not other things in other places. Maybe some are even yet to be discovered. Bungie's always releasing things with bugs, but I think we can all agree that this is sort of getting increasingly worse over time. I mean, obviously Heresy has its own set of bugs, hence by the bazillion things that were disabled for Contest Dungeon. But even that dungeon, the contest race, had some crazy bug where I think that the Shriekers or something couldn't take precision damage, so that artificially extended that, encounter by an absurd amount because you couldn't do crit damage, I think was the issue there. And it's, everyone's like QA, QA, QA. Yeah, it's QA, except, I'm not going to blame QA because, as we know, Bungie has done all these, huge layoffs, and we know that a number of QA people, a significant amount, have been caught up in these layoffs. There's some reporting about like whether Sony's helping with QA, or there's outsourcing or whatever, but like clearly the point is trying to, QA a game of this size where it has not only new content that's being added, but you have to check how it affects essentially every other piece of content in the game, which you either often don't or often can't, something like that. And it's too much for an increasingly small, overwhelmed QA team. And, well, all layoffs are bad. Laying off, a huge section of your department that does, ensure that the game is not horribly broken, that is very bad. And these, like, these seem like such very enormous, like obvious issues, like, testing just anything in the last episode. But again, they have to, the priority is clearly testing all the Heresy stuff. So that doesn't launch broken. And, the cadence between these is pretty rapid, even with the somewhat slowdown. So it's, it's kind of the situation again of Bungie really, really being strained to keep making a game this big, which is why, with this many updates so quickly, which is why I think they're scaling back significantly with Frontiers. I guess we don't know the full extent of how much it's scaling back, but it seems like it's going to be scaling back quite a bit. It sucks because it sucks for Bungie because they are stretched way too thin, and they'll take a lot of flack for it, even though it's like what can they really do? Like, I don't think anyone's being incompetent. It's just like too much stuff coming at them at one time, and it sucks for the player base because, like, well, you can't play the last episode at all essentially, and then every season we run into a slate of new bugs where this is broken or that's broken, and it's only increasing over time. So this is a weird one. We'll see if Bungie says anything about it. I think one or two of these may be known issues, but I haven't heard anything about this Nether health regen thing. If this is somehow purposeful, I don't understand how if you can explain to me how it's purposeful and how no regenning health in Vanguard playlist is supposed to be a thing that happens, knock yourself out. Let me know. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.